This year I'm inviting everyone to exhale and remember what Christmas really means to you. Well, I've got my cup of tea in my new mug and I've been thrifted, so I'm in my happy place. This little dish reminded me of one that I had years and years ago, and also my mum had, and we used to have candy in it at Christmas, but the kids were never allowed to have it. It was so funny. This ribbon was 75 cents, originally $20 from the craft store. It's a lovely, really nice quality, and it's wired, and I thought it would be perfect around my lions at the front door. It's funny because as I'm approaching sort of thinking about decorating, I'm really thinking about when I was a kid and that feeling and what it actually meant. And honestly, the things I remember is, I do remember Christmases and what I got for Christmas, but I remember being with family most of all, and the visits that we had and the really lovely times that we had over the Christmas period. And that's kind of what I want to recreate this year. This great ribbon, it's again $6 originally. There's loads of it. It's like that plastic coated velvet ribbon, but it's lovely and it's perfect for outdoors. This little plate is it's not a spode, but it's a pottery from the UK, 50 cents. I wish I'd have found more of those. I would have got those, but it's making a start on my Christmas decor. This little birdhouse was, I think, 50 cents. Yep, 50 cents. This was, I had the idea of recreating a Putz village. So I'd got a couple of other little houses that I already have in my stock, and that's what I wanted to use. Found this lovely red gingham, which screams Christmas to me, and I thought it'd be perfect for decorating little Teddy's room because he always has that theme in there. And along with this lovely velvet backed little Christmas stocking, I've got a couple of these now. Again, gorgeous. I found these little tartlet or flan cases. I never see these anywhere, and I think they were $1 each, and I think there's about 5 or 6 in each one. And I was going to decorate with them, but I think I'm going to actually use them. They're perfect. I love them. Little more miniature decorations from one of my trees. These were originally from IKEA, and those were $2. Those are really nice. I found this board, which especially around Christmas time, solid wood, and I use these for engraving and laser. I use it for my laser machine, which makes wonderful gifts. This was the find of the week. I could not believe this. Who remembers last year when I did down my staircase the 12 days of Christmas? That was something I got off Etsy and then crafted it myself. Well, these are silver plated, and they are quite heavy. They've still got the tags on them, and they are the 12 days of Christmas. And I found that it's complete. It was in a set, and this was $2. I cannot believe this. I saw it in the distance and I wondered what it was. I thought it was the rings for curtains, but oh my goodness, they are beautiful. The only thing I don't like is the little hangers on them. Well, same day thrifting, I found these little silver ribbon hangers that I am going to replace and hang these up. Now I'm going to give them a really good cleaning, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to put them on the tree. Here's the little 50 cents for these, and all I ended up doing, I tried a couple of little ways. The hole is very small in these little ornaments. What I ended up doing was using a big darning needle, threading the silver ribbon through and then doing it that way. But and even if I do have some really pretty little vintage style hooks, if I can find those in silver, when I take my decorations out, I will use those. But I'm not sure 100% yet where I'm going to be using them, whether I'll use them on a tree, use them on a garland, or put them on the stairs, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there. If the hole had been a little bit bigger, I would have put some velvet ribbons, the very tiny little velvet ribbons through these, which I could still do. I could always put like a little wire link and then attach the ribbon to it, so I'll see. But I do like this little silver glittery ribbon that I think it looks very pretty. And again, really lucky to find the little ribbons, never mind the 12 Days of Christmas, just gorgeous. Let's get crafting. Wooden bowl, a bit of moss, glue, the little nativity figures I picked up recently, and these plastic bowls, the balls, Christmas balls. I make a nativity every year. This year I had an idea to combine. I wanted to do you remember the old advent calendars that you used to make when you were at school? Well, we used to. It used to be 4 coat hangers, big fluffy glittery tinsel and candles, and we used to put the candles on each corner and you would light them up for each Sunday before Advent, and then on Christmas Day you would have the centre one that you would light. I remember making those for years. So I wanted to do something like that, and I had an idea. It didn't turn out exactly as planned, but it turned out really nicely. So I had this bowl that I wanted to, I don't hate the colour of it, but I like the bowl, and it was a perfect shape. So I took the little ornaments and I'm just putting Mod Podge on them, on the wings of the angel, on the hair of Mary, and the straw around the baby Jesus. And then I'm using my clear glass tints glitter, and then I'm just going to put that in the 3 places, and it just gives them, almost makes them glow really pretty. It's not a load of colour, but it's just enough to give them that little sparkle, which is really cute. And then I'm going to take a big upholstery hoop that I've already painted black, but I'm going to paint it gold for this craft, and I'm going to stick that, glue it with hot glue to the bottom of the bowl, and then I'm going to put these little ornaments in the orbs, the Christmas decorations, and suspend them from the embroidery hoop with some ribbon. And it's just something a little different to show your nativity scene. So I am taking my glue gun and I'm just going to put a whole bunch of glue in the bottom of the bowl, and obviously if you want to use the bowl afterwards or a tray or whatever it is you've got, you could also use it like a plastic plate if you have one. You can remove it and it's not going to do any damage. What I decided to do after this was I added a piece of card above just to hold the embroidery ring into place, just because it was going to be carrying a little bit of weight with the 3 ornaments hanging from the top of the ring. So I did add in a little bit more of the glue and a piece of cardboard, just as I said, just to anchor the ring, and then I'm just covering everything with glue and covering the whole thing with this lovely moss. You can see here I've cut the labels off the little globe. I've made sure obviously that the little statue fits inside. I've glued some moss to the bottom and then glued the little figure to the moss, and it should stay pretty well. It's put it like this, it's stayed so far. So with the angel, because this one was going to be going higher up, I filled with the bottom with Mod Podge and then used the same glitter. And then once that was all dry, I went back in and stuck my little angel in place. Now the baby Jesus, I put in the globe that was in 2 halves. So again, just did the same thing, glued the moss into the bottom on both sides, then glued the baby in and closed up the little globe. I added some red velvet ribbon in 3 different lengths, and then I had the baby at the lowest point, I had the angel at the highest point, and then Mary was sort of hovering between the two. And then once those were all in place, I decided to make a paper star. I couldn't find a star that I liked, but I'm going to show you very, very quickly how to make a 3-dimensional star that always works out and always looks good. So this is craft paper. It's like a paper. It's not like a board, because you need to be able to fold this quite easily. So I am making 5 squares. You can see here I'm just cutting everything into squares. First of all, you fold them into half, and then you fold them back onto themselves, and you're creating a point on both ends. It almost looks like a kite. So you're folding 2 ends in and creating a kite shape. Once you've got that, you're going to take the biggest fold at the top, and you're going to fold that back onto yourself. So the biggest point, I should say, and fold that back onto the paper. Then you're going to take that same point that you've just folded down and fold it in again, and you're almost created like an arrowhead shape. And once those are all done, you're going to take a glue stick and then just glue down where you've just folded. And what you're doing is you're creating almost like a little pocket, and when they're all glued together, this is going to give it a 3D effect. So the glue stick works great here. So you're just gluing it all down, and then once it's all done, you're going to glue it together. I use a glue stick to glue it all together. Now this paper was just an off-white, and I wanted it to be gold, so I just took my little gold paint and just very lightly gave it a little bit of colour. Once each piece was painted, I then took my glue gun, opened up the little shape of the stars, and glued all of the inside points together to one another. So you've got 5 pieces, you're gluing them all together, and then you're going to open it up and glue the last 2 pieces to each other, and that gives you your star. I have always loved the putz houses. They originated in Central Europe, actually from a German word called putzen, which means to decorate, and they were part of elaborate, glittery village scenes. And I remember these when I was a kid, and I just loved them. So I see them every now and again. I see them in collections, and they're worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So I'm doing my own. I'm using a birdhouse for one, and this is a little cardboard house that I picked up ages ago from the dollar store. As you can see, it all clicks together. I've painted the walls in this lovely sky blue, and then I've put yellow card behind the windows to give them the look of glass, light reflecting. And then I've painted the window frames in this gold, and then the inside glass I'm using Mod Podge and putting yellow glitter. Around the windows I'm putting Mod Podge and putting gold glitter, and then all over the house where I've done the blue I'm going to be painting the same Mod Podge, and I've done it with the front door is red, and then all of the blue is going to be blue glitter. And that's what these little putz houses are. They are little glittered houses. Now the ones I'm making are a little bit bigger than what they would have normally been, but I'm making do with what I have. I would at some point like to recreate more of a vintage style, smaller village, but I'll do that at some point, I'm sure I will. But this again is a very nostalgic look, and they look beautiful. They're not everybody's taste, but they really are very pretty, and they're perfect for a shelf, or I'm going to put them on top of my bookshelves in the library, and I'm going to put lights inside them, and hopefully they'll look exactly how I plan they will. But as you can see, I'm going in layers, and I'm painting with the glue and changing the colour of the glitter as I go. Now on the roof I'm using white felt because they have the appearance of snow. So again, using Mod Podge, cutting the shapes that I want and sticking them into place. Once that's done, I'm going to paint everything with just a white paint, and then I'm going to go over it all with the Mod Podge and use my white glitter. And I've added a couple of little Christmas trees around the door, and then some pipe cleaners. I've made some greenery for the doorway and some little wreaths. The green one I was going to film, but we had some power outages last week, and it's been messing with my computer. And also because I didn't have the light, I was carrying on crafting, but I didn't have the light to film. So I haven't filmed absolutely everything, but I'm sure you get the idea. Now this is another craft from way back when. This is the glittered pipe cleaners. Now what I did was I grabbed 3 pipe cleaners, cut them in half, folded them in half, and wrapped them with another piece of pipe cleaner, so it's gives you like a star shape. Then I pull the pipe cleaners apart, and in twos I feed on some little beads about 3/4 of the way down. Once that's all done, I then cut the ends off and make it all even, and then below the little bead I open up the pipe cleaners. So you put your fingers in and you sort of pull the 2 little pipe cleaners apart, and that creates your star shape. Above the pipe cleaner you can either add more above the bead you can either add more beads or just separate the little pipe cleaners, and you can change the patterns as you go. You can change the colour of the beads, and you can change the colour of the pipe cleaners. But it's a really quick and easy craft that you can do with kids or grandkids, and they look lovely. So all the handmade decor along with the paper ribbons and the paper chains, they're all going to be going in my front hallway. It's going to be a real blast from the past. So I'm going to start decorating next week's video. I'm going to start in the hallway and work my way through the house. And I'm not having any themes. I just want it to be a real nostalgic feel, a real blast from the past. And I want it to feel like a warm hug of Christmas. I'm not rushing it. I'm going to enjoy it all. And hopefully you can come along and enjoy it with me. So have yourself a great week. Stay warm. I know the weather's changing by us. Thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Hit the like button and give me a hype. It helps a great deal. And I will see you next time and when we start Christmas decorating. Have a great week.